My Life with the Walter Boys. Critics absolutely hate this show, but fans love it. Why is that? The show is cheesy, predictable, overcrowded, and trope heavy, but critics fundamentally misunderstand what makes the show enjoyable. Walter Boys isn't trying to be prestige television, it's comfort escapist TV. Ranch, giant family, love triangle between two brothers, horses, small town, heartbreak, and cozy episodes. The question isn't, is this objectively good television? The question is, why does this show work despite, and sometimes because of, what the critics actually dislike about it? Destroy My Life with the Walter Boys. Variety said that it had generic storylines, way too massive of a cast, puzzling choices, that it was stale, that the love triangle lacked chemistry, and that the show brings very little to the genre. Hollywood Reporter said that it had dull characters, sluggish pacing, a love triangle that didn't land, characters that felt two-dimensional, and apparently left the reporter feeling cold. Basically, the critics really did not like this show. And yet, Netflix keeps renewing it. Netflix has just confirmed that filming has started for season 4 of this show that critics despise. The critics aren't necessarily wrong. I read these reviews and I was thinking they're kind of right. The show absolutely has ridiculous plot decisions, an absurd amount of characters, like actually insane amount of characters, questionable romance choices, convenient drama, and definitely very young adult or YA dialogue. It is very much so a YA show.
Want to introduce yourselves?
She'll figure it out.
To learn to take a little rough and tumble. She'll never survive here otherwise.
Jackie, tomorrow will be easier.
But I still really enjoyed it, and I think I understand why. So my overall thesis for this video is that maybe the critics aren't wrong. Maybe they're judging My Life with the Walter Boys to a wrong standard. Because this show isn't trying to reinvent television, it's trying to give you a comforting, cozy escape. And I actually think it is very good at that. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and this channel is Jordan is Obsessed, where I discuss TV shows, pop culture, and media. So if that interests you, then definitely subscribe, because I will be doing more videos about other TV shows. So please subscribe, please like, please comment, whatever, and please enjoy this video. I'm so excited to talk about My Life with the Walter Boys. Like, guys, this is actually one of my comfort shows, and I know on this channel I have been critical of other shows in the past for the exact crimes that this show commits, but for some reason this show is a comfort show to me, and I wanted to discuss it because this show cops a lot of flack, and it's understandable, but I just had to talk about it. First things first, I need to take this jumper off because it's hot. Just a quick disclaimer that this video will include some mild spoilers for My Life with the Walter Boys season 1, 2, and maybe a little bit of season 3 as well. So if you don't want to be spoiled and you do want to watch the show, then maybe check out the show and come back and watch this video. Otherwise, the spoilers are only going to be super mild because I'm only going to be touching on general themes and topics of the show rather than doing a full deep dive plot by plot of the show. It's more so going to be a discussion on why I think the critics are absolutely wrong when it comes to this show. So if you also loved My Life with the Walter Boys and you want to hear all of the reasons why I think this show is amazing, then you are going to love this video. Or if maybe you're not sure whether it's worth watching My Life with the Walter Boys, then you will also enjoy this video because it will let you know if maybe it's the type of comfort show that you might like to check out. Anyway, enjoy the video. Thank you so much. So what is My Life with the Walter Boys about? My Life with the Walter Boys is based on Ali Novak's novel of the same name, and the plot follows Jackie Howard, a 15-year-old Manhattan native who is really type A and seems to have the perfect life until tragedy strikes and her entire family, her mum, her dad, and her sister are killed in a horrific and sudden car accident. She is then shipped off to rural Colorado to live with her mother's best friend, Catherine Walter, her husband, George Walter, and their 10 children. Hence the name of the show, My Life with the Walter Boys.
My whole life was in New York, but now I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere without my family.
Hi, I'm Jackie Howard, and I just moved here.
She's now navigating her grief, a chaotic household with all of these people, and to make matters more complicated, she does grow closer with two of the brothers specifically. We have Alex Walter, who is quite similar to Jackie. He's a bit nerdy, he's really sweet, he's more similar in age to her, and he definitely takes a liking to Jackie straight away. And then we have Cole Walter. He is the older, more bad boy brother. He's brooding, he's got his own own trauma that he's dealing with, and she is kind of drawn to both of these brothers. So not only is she dealing with this grief, moving to a new place that is so different to the life that she's used to, but she's also finding herself being drawn to two of the Walter boys.
I'm confused. So are you into Alex or are you getting into Cole?
Now, based on that plot alone, that you could say the show is ridiculously familiar or cliched. The publication Variety very validly states that the love triangle between the two brothers, Cole, Alex, and Jackie, is very, very similar to what we've seen on television before. Specifically, some of the cult classics like The Vampire Diaries, where we had Stefan, Damon, and Elena. And then, of course, even more recently, The Summer I Turned Pretty took absolutely everyone by storm, where we had Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad. So it really seems like this trope of one girl, two brothers just seems to work. However, critics saw My Life with the Walter Boys as another recycled young adult formula. Hollywood Reporter described it as city girl moves to small town, meets handsome boys, love triangle, basically a YA trope bingo. And they aren't wrong. Jackie is a traumatized city girl. She's super type A. She wants everything to be a certain type of way, and then all of a sudden she's ripped out of the life that she knows, and she's dealing with this tragedy, but she's also got to adapt to Colorado and the ranch, and it's different. It's kind of that fish out of water storyline. She's moved in with this giant family, handsome brothers. One of the brothers represents safety, one of the brothers represents stepping out of her comfort zone. It is basically the young adult starter pack.
What's happening with Alex and Cole? You guys know where you stand now, right?
Everybody's been through so much. This is the only home I have now. I haven't been completely honest with you.
And the love triangle is definitely not subtle. On one hand, we have Alex, who is nice, bookish, intellectual, stable, reliable, similar to Jackie. And then on the other end, we have Cole. He is definitely troubled. He is the former football star who can no longer play due to an injury. He's got a bad attitude, emotional damage, definitely very I can fix him vibes. And the critics argue that neither relationship has enough chemistry. The Hollywood Reporter said that Alex was very needy and that Cole is basically a jerk. And Variety said that neither brother really makes the triangle compelling.
Are you still with Alex? Because everybody's talking about it.
It's complicated.
You kissed Cole Walter?
And I am a little bit inclined to agree with some of those criticisms. It is a very cliched setup for a love triangle, stability versus dangerous brooding bad boy, but that is what makes it so good. This is a recipe and a formula that has worked time and time again, and it works for a reason. It creates amazing conflict, and I do actually think that Jackie has chemistry with both of the boys in the love triangle, and I feel as though this chemistry is developed as the season goes on, and I do feel as though My Life with the Walter Boys would have really benefited from a 22 episode season, so we could have really seen the full development of that. But I digress. We did not get a 22 episode season because no one's doing 22 episode seasons anymore. Another criticism is that the cast is way too big. So the Walter family is absolutely huge. I can't even remember fully. I think it's 10 or 12. Like, I couldn't even tell you. And I'm like, I've been looking things up and there's conflicting notes as well. Some sources say there's 12 brothers, some say 10. I was literally watching the show last night and I couldn't even tell you how many there are because there's too many. There's the children, the brothers, plus there is partners and friends. There's also school characters as well. We have teachers. We also have Jackie's uncle as well. At times, it does feel like the show is introducing a new Walter or a new character every 2 minutes. And sometimes you think you've counted them all and then all of a sudden there's somehow more of them. Or there's a Walter that I'll forget about and then they'll feature in a scene. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot that they were part of this family. This is valid criticism. However, I do think that a giant ensemble cast like this, well, they're not really an ensemble, but I do think a huge cast like this creates a certain feeling that I think adds to the overall appeal of the show that we'll explore later. Then we have Jackie's grief. Now, as I said, Jackie tragically lost her parents and her sister. That is the setup for the whole show. That is the reason why she has moved to Colorado and completely changed her life. The show definitely could have explored her grief, her family's death, the problems that have arisen out of this, her relationships in terms of the life that she left behind in New York. However, often in the show, the grief does kind of become a background to, boys, school, parties, drama. And this is definitely probably the biggest legitimate criticism, I would say. Jackie has experienced something truly, truly horrific, and the show doesn't really sit with it. Is that because the show doesn't care about her grief or care to explore the grief, or because the Walter family itself and this setup of the show is the answer to her grief?
Jackie, I know coming here is hard for you, and I cannot begin to imagine what you're going through since the accident happened.
Now let's talk about the fantasy that makes this show work. At the start of season 1, when Jackie starts at a new school in Colorado and the high schoolers learn that she's living with the Walter boys, one of the other characters literally turns to her and goes, "Oh my gosh, you're living with the Walter boys. You're the luckiest girl in the whole school."
Jackie's landed in boy heaven. You're like the luckiest girl in this whole school.
Now, obviously, that is a bit ridiculous. This is absolutely an insane situation. Jackie loses her family. She moves across the country, lives with a family of 12, several attractive teenage boys, ranch, horses, gorgeous scenery, small town, everyone knows everyone, and she's immediately at the center of everything. And it's definitely boy heaven in the young adult world. And definitely, I would say, Hollywood Reporter described this show as being wish fulfillment for a teenage girl. However, that's exactly the point, I think. This is what I think that the critics kind of accidentally identified and then immediately used as a criticism. The critics identified that this show is boy haven, it's, cozy familiarity, it's overuse of tropes, it's a YA starter pack, but I think that's the point of the show. Now, let's break down the key ingredients of the show. Of course, we have the ranch. The ranch is absolutely gorgeous in this show. Huge house, horses, mountains, barns, outdoor lifestyle. It is a complete fantasy compared with Jackie's fast-paced, sleek Manhattan life. And the scenery and the set design here is absolutely gorgeous. The Walter home looks beautiful. Then we have the giant family, chaotic, loud, constant activity. Someone is always around, and it is completely opposite to, again, the life that Jackie had before losing her family. Then we have that small town community vibe that I'm like, is this even real? Are there actually communities out there like this? I'm sure there are, but it just feels like such a cozy fantasy in the way that, everyone knows everyone and everyone immediately knows Jackie. There's school events, there's football, there's, a cafe that everyone seems to go to, there's community events, and everyone gets involved in everyone's business. Then, of course, we have the romance. We have the two brothers, completely different archetypes. Both are interested in her. It is literally a teenage girl's fantasy. Then, of course, on top of all of that, we have the cozy aesthetics. The autumn or fall, as Americans would call it. The ranch, horses, bonfires, gorgeous fields and scenery, school dances, small town events. It just creates an atmosphere and an aesthetic that is very, very cozy, very homely. Now let's compare that with some other classic comfort shows. We have Gilmore Girls, small town, community, familiar faces, cozy setting. We have The Summer I Turned Pretty, young adult romance, love triangle, nostalgia, wish fulfillment, and my personal favorite, which is Heart of Dixie, escaping the city life, small community, romance, beautiful scenery, emotional drama. Now, there is no shortage of shows like this where predictability isn't necessarily a problem. It's literally part of the product of the show. It's comfort TV. Nobody watches a young adult comfort show thinking, wow, I really hope that this subverts the genre of young adult television. You watch it because you know the emotional experience that you're getting. And The Walter Boys is similar. The familiarity is part of the appeal. Now let's discuss the hidden depth of the show. Variety stated in their review of My Life with the Walter Boys that they wanted substantially more on the grief journey that Jackie was going through. Now, at the beginning of the show, Jackie is very Manhattan or New York, as Cole calls her. She's structured, she's academic, Princeton focused, because of course it's an American show, they're obsessed with Ivy Leagues, whatevs. She's organized, and her entire identity is built around achievements.
Don't waste another second feeling guilty. We all just need to get back to living.
The more that I try to fit in, the further it feels like I am from them.
Then she goes through something tragic and horrific. Her family dies. Everything disappears. She's forced entirely into a new life. And so then, of course, she enters the Walter family, where she doesn't just gain a guardian. She gains brothers, cousins, friends, community, people who need her, people who notice when she's missing. And Catherine Walter, who is particularly important. She's a connection to Jackie's mother, and she really does become a bit of a maternal family figure, and her relationship with Jackie does become increasingly important.
I'm sorry that I made it seem like it was going to be easy to come back here, but if anybody can do hard things,
It's you.
The family gradually becomes home, and this is crucial for a show like this. By the end of season 1, Jackie says that she feels at home in Silver Falls.
This family has been the best thing that has come out of the worst thing that happened. And I don't take that for granted.
But then, in a delicious moment, after her and Alex have dated for pretty much the whole season, her and Cole kiss. And it was so good. And the relationship that she had with Alex absolutely imploded. So in classic YA trope, she can't handle it. She can't handle what she's done. So she just jets off to New York. And that's the end of season 1.
I'm sorry that I made it seem like it was gonna be easy to come back here. But if anybody can do hard things, it's you.
The contradiction of it all is that she physically leaves the place. She leaves Silver Falls behind, but emotionally, she has already found something there. I also wanted to explore the whole teapot storyline from season 1 as a bit of symbolism. Jackie has this teapot that belonged to her family, and then one of the Walter siblings accidentally breaks it. Now, of course, Jackie's absolutely devastated because this teapot meant a lot to her, and it got broken, and so she's absolutely heartbroken. Cole, throughout the entirety of season 1, had been so brooding, so dark, so mysterious, like kind of rude, not gonna lie. He repairs it on his own, and he fixes it. And this is to show us the message that nothing is so broken that it cannot be fixed.
I got it.
It was Lucy's birthday yesterday.
I'm sorry, Jackie.
That's why I was using her teapot. It's part of our birthday tradition.
And this is amazing because it applies to both characters. We, of course, have Jackie, who feels so emotionally broken. And then we have Cole, who feels physically broken because he injured himself so badly that his rising football career was cut short and he can no longer play football, and he was like destined for the pros. And so it's kind of a great message because he repairs this teapot, and there's just symbolism there. It's very on the nose. It's very on the nose. I never said that it was subtle, but that's the point. Jackie is the teapot. Her old life is broken and she can't return to who she was, but broken doesn't mean over. She builds something new. Is it subtle? Absolutely not. Is it cheesy? Yes. But does it work? Yes. To me, it does. And then we have season 2. This is really where Jackie chooses the Walters. She returns to Silver Falls. She becomes more involved in the community. She gets the Young Sparkler Award. She gets involved in fundraising and college events. And Erin, another character, encourages her to run for class president. So Catherine also says the line, you're such a huge part of this community and this family. And this really shows us in season 2. This is what I'm saying. This part of the journey. People say that the show lacks depth. There is depth. Okay. Yes, it's a little like, it's not going to be the most complicated, complex depth, but it's there. And Catherine says, you're such a huge part of this community and our family. And this matters because Jackie isn't just the New York new girl anymore. She's become part of the family. She's actively contributing to the community. And this is definitely an emotional payoff that was building from season 1 to season 2. And yes, there is an element of which boy is she going to choose, but there's also the element of Jackie finding a sense of belonging. And so by the time season 3 rolls around, she feels fully embedded into the community. Now let's talk about the love triangle and why I think it works even though critics think that it doesn't make sense. Why do we even care about Alex versus Cole? Why do we even care about this love triangle? Because the show has made them represent 2 completely different versions of Jackie and Jackie's future. Alex equals safety. Alex and Jackie do have a lot of similarities. They're both intellectual, they both love books, they're both intentional. And Alex does offer that stability, that familiarity, friendship, someone who understands her, a relationship that makes sense, and a relationship that feels safe and grounded after everything that she's gone through. Alex and Alex's journey with Jackie, and it feels very puppy love. It feels very sweet. It's definitely a very safe relationship. And Jackie is with him because on paper, he is to her who she thinks she should be with, but also who feels almost safer and easier to be with. Alex is something that Jackie can kind of plan for and control in a way. Not in like she's controlling him, but she feels like she can control her life. Cole is chaos. So Cole is the former football star. And, he had this career destroying injury and he doesn't know what he is anymore. He's the popular guy because of his football career, but he's also kind of a little bit separate and isolated from that life of the popular guy. He also works as a mechanic as well, and he's considering abandoning college altogether. Jackie and Cole are both experiencing upheaval in their own ways. Both had futures that they imagined ripped away from them, and that's where their connection comes from. As well, I do think that the actors have great chemistry as well. Cole represents risk, emotion, uncertainty, letting go and living instead of planning, and that is made even more abundant in season 3 as well. Cole pushes Jackie to take chances, let go, be emotional, and this is what makes the love triangle more interesting in my opinion. It's not really which boy should Jackie choose. It's, does Jackie want the life that she planned, a life where she can feel in control, or does she want to allow herself to actually feel and live life to the fullest and take a chance?
When we kissed before, it was the only time that I've ever stopped thinking about everything. How I'm doing in school, if I fit in here, what my future will look like. I felt really free.
Jackie is extremely type A, and this is one of the core characteristics that's drummed into us throughout the whole show. You know, she wants to go to Princeton, perfect grades, control, organization. She's a planner. Cole threatens all of that. And this is confirmed in the season 2 finale when Cole and Jackie have their big, gorgeous love confession.
Why is it that you can't stay away from him, but you can stay away from me?
I can't stay away from you. I keep trying to, and nothing works. And I can't have that, Cole. I can't be with someone who makes me feel the way that you make me feel.
When she tells Cole that she literally cannot stop thinking about him and that she loves him, she feels out of control. And she says that she can't lose control because that also is the other element. She's had this tragedy occur to her. So a way that she's coping is to try and control everything to gain back what it is that she had in her previous life before this tragedy struck. However, Cole makes her feel completely out of control, and that is the attraction with Cole in terms of the love triangle. Obviously, I'm team Cole.
How do I make you feel?
Stop it.
I love you, Jackie.
I love you. Okay?
Why would being with me be so awful?
I would say the chemistry between them is actually more about emotional vulnerability rather than compatibility or attractiveness. And I would say that Cole understands something about Jackie that Alex doesn't. Both have lost the futures that they thought they were getting. So their attraction isn't rational or strange to me. That's the point, and it makes perfect sense to me. Also, Cole's arc is one of the show's better redemption stories in my opinion. In season 1, he really is that grumpy, brooding, misunderstood bad boy. However, season 2 gives him a chance at leadership. He starts being the assistant coach for the football team.
I'm tired of being a failure, so I've been looking into college applications. What?
We really see him take a lot of responsibility and grow for the better, but also grow in a way that makes sense to his character. And I feel like this extends to multiple elements of his life in terms of him taking responsibility, coaching the football team, and also how he is with his family and how he responds to the other brothers rather than being super hot-headed like he would have been in season 1. In season 2, he approaches things a lot differently, but in a way that feels organic to the growth of the character. We're not going to pretend that Cole is going to be a great boyfriend because he isn't, and his treatment of his girlfriend not even girlfriend, but of Erin at the start of season 1 is really bad. So he definitely is a jerk, but that is why his transformation is so compelling, and that is the whole point of this whole love triangle situation. We need to have one of the brothers who seem like they're not going to be a good match, and then they go through a character arc and a transformation, and then, of course, we have Alex. And, again, on paper, he should be the obvious choice, but this is a young adult TV show with a brother love triangle. So obviously not. Even though he's nice, he's supportive, he loves her, and he shares some of her interests, his insecurities do increasingly become a bit of an ick throughout season 2, and his rivalry with his older brother Cole does consume him, and he does want Jackie to choose him. By the end of season 1, Jackie kisses Cole and goes to New York. She comes back. Her and Alex kind of, they make amends. They get over it. They start this secret relationship. And I think, again, it's just Jackie returning to what feels safe to her. But she's not openly embracing it. And then, of course, when Alex overhears Jackie admitting that she loves Cole, the whole thing completely blows up.
You love him?
I don't
And this is where the love triangle stops being theoretical, because Jackie does love both of them. Jackie loves Alex and the safety he can provide her, but she loves Cole.
Like I was out of control, and I can't have that goal. I can't lose control.
Now let's get to the crux of this video. The problem with dismissing comfort TV. Hollywood Reporter admits during their critique of the show that cozy familiarity is what the show is doing. Rural scenery, aspirational interiors, Hallmark-like small town fantasy, Summer I Turned Pretty / To All the Boys I Loved Before kind of copycat vibes. And their criticism is that it's too familiar, too predictable, too superficial. Yes, that is the point. That is the point of a show like this. Not everything has to reinvent television. Sometimes I don't want prestige drama, complicated mythology, morally grey characters, or shocking twists in every episode. Sometimes I want pretty people, pretty scenery, romantic tension, family drama, a big house, someone to fall in love with, and a problem that will be solved by the end of the episode. Comfort TV isn't necessarily bad TV, and I'm sick of it being villainized in that way for people who aren't the target audience for this content. Yes, the dialogue can be cheesy, the plot can be a bit ridiculous, and some storylines do feel rushed. There are way too many characters, like seriously way too many characters, and some of the romances and choices of the characters are definitely questionable. But does every flaw actually make me want to stop watching? I also feel like a benefit of this show is that although the cast is huge, I actually think that some of the supporting characters matter and add to the story, and I really like their stories. We have Erin. Erin starts as the jealous girlfriend / rival to Jackie when Jackie arrives in Colorado in Silver Falls, because Erin was Cole's situationship.
Good luck today, Ariana.
Just watch it. So her relationship with Jackie, it definitely starts off rocky, and she definitely fills that classic trope. But over the course of the show, Erin becomes such an interesting character that really subverts the stereotype of the classic, jealous girlfriend rival character, because Erin grows into someone who is making choices for herself, who gets into drama and acting, and through that uncovers a joy of drama and acting, and then meets another one of the Walter brothers, Danny Walter, and it's just really sweet. It subverts that trope of that character, and her and Jackie go on to become friends. And I actually think that this is another strong element of this show, because there's this character that could have just been the nasty mean girl, but she's not. Then we have Danny Walter. Danny is actually Cole's twin brother as well, and he's kind of like, bless him, he's like the less cool brother to Cole, but I actually really enjoy his character because he's different. He's into theater. It's his dream to go to Juilliard. He and Jackie click straight away because she's from New York. He wants to go to Juilliard, so they have this thing in common. So it shows that Jackie's not only defined by romance, and she's able to develop relationships with the other Walter brothers based on something outside of the love triangle. We also have Nathan and Skylar, and this is another romance, and it's got its own messiness, and it's also got its own cringy elements as well, but I think it's a nice addition to the show. The relationship between Nathan and Skylar also kind of demonstrates the family / community ecosystem, because Skylar's dad, I think, is like the mayor of the town. Anyway, it's really, really good. And then we have Will and Haley. Will is the oldest Walter brother. This is the adult relationship in the show. And their story arc throughout season 1 is that they are having a bit of troubles with money, and they're kind of like a young couple, and they're engaged. I will say Will and Haley actually piss me off. Will and Haley, like, if I'm going to criticize something about this show, it will be Will and Haley, because they don't, like, every time Will's face comes on the screen, don't piss me off. Like, I don't know what it is about his character specifically actually pisses me off so much. Anyway, I say all of this to demonstrate that the show is not just the love triangle. The show is not just Cole versus Alex. That is just the most marketable part of the show. The show is so much more than that. It's about this big family, this community, and if the show gets renewed for even more seasons, season 4, season 5, season 6, I really hope that it digs into that community vibe, and it becomes less about the one love triangle, kind of her going back and forth between Cole and Alex, and more about the community as a whole and the dynamic of the community, because there is plenty of small town drama to be discussed in a young adult TV show that I would personally love to watch. As I have said many points throughout this video, even though I love this show, it is definitely flawed. So why do we love flawed TV shows so much? We've all watched shows that are objectively ridiculous, and if anything, some of my favorite shows are the most ridiculous and silly shows. I think that's why I like reality TV so much. You know, I can watch an episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and think this is so ridiculous and absurd, let's play the next episode immediately. And also I can revisit some of my other comfort shows like Gossip Girl or Heart of Dixie, The Vampire Diaries, and view things from the lens as an adult and think this is completely ridiculous, but it still brings me so much joy. Sometimes the thing that we love isn't the writing of the show, it's the way that the show makes us feel. My Life with the Walter Boys gives you escapism, romance, family, belonging, emotional stakes with the backdrop of beautiful scenery, enough drama to keep things moving, and enough predictability to feel safe. Like sometimes when a plot point starts, I know exactly where it's going. Like for example, in season 3, Jackie decides she's gonna throw a party for her best friend, and it's like, we obviously know where this is going. And she's house sitting for her Uncle Richard, and there's so much on like, oh, like we can't like ruin the house because Richard's renting it and the table's really expensive. It's like, babe, we know that you're gonna get caught, we know that the table's gonna get broken, and we know that this whole party thing is gonna blow up in your face. But that's a comforting element to me. That I don't mind that I can predict that. As I said at the start of this video, Variety called this TV show stale, generic, lacking in chemistry. Hollywood Reporter called it dull, sluggish, and two-dimensional. And I do agree with them. It kind of is. But maybe My Life with the Walter Boys isn't good because it's original and subverts the genre and makes a statement about what young adult TV shows should be, or is a modernized take on it. Maybe it's good because it isn't those things. Maybe its appeal is that you know exactly what you're getting, and it reminds me of those shows that I grew up with, those comfort TV shows that brought me and still to this day bring me so much joy. You know exactly what you're getting when you put on an episode of this show. The ranch, the family, the Walter Boys, the love triangle, petty high school drama. My final argument is that it doesn't have to be the best show on television to be a good show. And I think that's what the critics missed. Sometimes a show doesn't need to challenge you. Sometimes it just needs to give you somewhere where you want to go back to. And that is exactly what My Life with the Walter Boys does. And that is why I return season after season after season. Having just finished season 3 of the show, I can say that this show continues to give me exactly what I want and what I need from this show. And if you're still on the fence about My Life with the Walter Boys and you haven't watched it, then definitely give it a chance. If you clicked on this video because you also love this show, My Life with the Walter Boys, then let me know down below who is your favorite Walter Boy and what you'd like to see from future seasons and how you felt about the ending of season 3. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down below, and let me know down below what TV show you'd like me to talk about next, because I have a few ideas, but I'd love to hear from you what TV show I should deep dive next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.